You know, I was literally, like not how usually people say the word, I mean literally, about to hit upload on a video that I recorded today where I make a case for the fact that I don't think they're going to make a direct sequel to Halloween 2018. Obviously, I understand the reasons why they more than likely will, but I made a case for, and it was pretty sound, for the fact that I got this feeling inside me. I just think they're not gonna, and I was just about to hit the upload button when all of a sudden some breaking news happened in the world of Halloween 2018 and its sequel. Yes, that's right. I actually have hair, contrary to popular belief. I am not bald. No, I just like hats. That feels better. Sorry to scare you there with my hair. Hey, let's talk about this, shall we? It's a fucking shit show! What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Yes, that's right. In this video, I want to talk about that breaking news that has happened. The breaking news that you no doubt know about. Maybe you don't. The breaking news that my horror counterparts here on YouTube are no doubt rushing to get their videos up online, especially those of us who cover Halloween. And they've probably already done it. You probably watched their videos because they're probably already online because I was so caught up in doing this other video that I was doing, which kind of renders it obsolete. Anyway. It was so good too. But hey, shit happens. These things happen. You got to roll with the punches, folks. You got to go with the flow. So yes, it was announced today, according to Collider.com, which is a pretty reputable source, that it looks like Blumhouse has found their writer to pen the script for a sequel to Halloween 2018. I will read you a bit of the article from Collider.com, and then I will give you my thoughts on what I think about all this. Okay, let's go to Collider.com. And this was an article written by Jeff Schneider. All right, Mr. Schneider, this is what he had to say. After adapting a pair of Stephen King novels for Blumhouse, Scott Teems, I believe is how you pronounce that, Scott Teems is in talks to write the sequel to David Gordon Green's Halloween, which will be based on a well-liked treatment Teems has already written for the company. Multiple sources familiar with the project have told Collider. Blumhouse had no comment. So this has not been confirmed. It hasn't been denied, but it's not confirmed. It's not denied, but it's not confirmed. But it's not denied. But it hasn't been confirmed. But it's not denied. Halloween stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, and Andy Matichak are all expected to return along with producer Jason Blum, whose production company will produce the sequel alongside Miramax and Trancas International Films, with Universal expected to once again handle distribution. Miramax's Bill Block and longtime franchise producer Malik Akkad will also produce, and I imagine David Gordon Green and Danny McBride will end up retaining their executive producer credits alongside Curtis and OG Halloween director John Carpenter. 2018's Halloween ended with the 3 generations of Strode women trapping Michael in the basement of Laurie's booby-trapped house as it proceeds to burn to the ground. As a big fan of the film, I'd personally love to see David Gordon Green return to direct, but at this point, that remains unclear, if not altogether unlikely. While Teems himself has experience behind the camera, having made his feature directorial debut with the well-reviewed 2009 indie That Evening Sun, starring Hal Holbrook, he's only making a deal to write the script at this point. That shouldn't come as a major surprise, as he has become one of Blum's go-to writers, having adapted King's book Firestarter and his novella The Breathing Method for Blumhouse. Scott Derrickson is attached to direct the latter, while Faith Akin is attached to direct the former, which is also being produced by Akiva Goldsman. Okay, so what do I think about all that? Okay, well, let's start here. Let's focus on the article first. Okay, so what do I think? Well, first of all, I don't know who Scott Teems is. I don't think any of us really do. And because there's not too much to go on in terms of his credits on IMDb or things we can sort of, look into ourselves. We don't really have anything to base, or to get an idea of what kind of a writer he is, what kind of a filmmaker he is, what kind of filmmaking sensibilities he has, what he brings to the table. We don't really know. All we know is that Blumhouse, who's been very successful at producing low budget, relatively speaking, low budget horror movies that make bank at the box office, have trusted this guy to write 2 screenplays based on 2 Stephen King films, 2 Stephen King stories. One, of course, is Firestarter, and the other one is, what's the other one again? The other one is The Breathing Method. So they've trusted him to write those 2 screenplays. Now, those 2 movies have yet to come out, so we have yet to see them. Will they be, will they be good? Will they not be good? We have no idea. And it's important to keep in mind that those are adaptations. Those are not necessarily original concepts. So this Halloween sequel may be his first big original idea that he conjures up himself instead of adapting someone else's work, which often can actually be harder. So we don't have a lot to go on. So I don't know Scott Teems. There's not a lot there. But obviously Blumhouse sees something in him and they trust him to do what he's done already. And he presented a treatment. And for those of you that don't know, a treatment is essentially, it varies. I mean, there's so many different kinds of treatments. A treatment can almost be like a short story in and of itself with director notes and camera notes and things like that, or it can act as a glorified synopsis and just be a couple of pages long that goes over sort of the basic idea of the arc and, the characters and what the film is about and things like that. There's different levels and variables. There's some treatments that are quite long and some treatments that are shorter. And, but it's basically a blueprint of the overall sort of narrative of what the story is. And then, of course, you take that treatment and you use that as the guide to flesh out all the fine nuances and subtleties and details, all the exposition, all the, the dialogue and the action and all that kind of jazz. You really bring it home. Well, he presented a treatment, his idea for a sequel to Halloween 2018. And apparently, according to Collider and according to their sources, Blumhouse liked it. Liked it enough that they're in the middle of negotiating a contract to bring him on as a writer. Okay. So that's what we know, and that's what I think about Scott Teems. It's a wait and see kind of thing. I have no idea. Now, we also have to keep in mind that the article said that Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, and Andy Matichak are expected to return. Now, expected doesn't mean they are going to return, okay? But according to the sources that we're talking to Collider, the rumblings, through the grapevine is, oh, yeah. They, I've talked to their agents and they seem kind of interested, or they're not kind of sure, but thinking about it. It's not, they're expected. The word on the street is, yeah, we think they're going to, kind of thing. That's what that means. Expected doesn't mean they're going to, okay? A multitude of variables, multitude of things can happen that can suddenly cause one of them or all of them to suddenly not return. But we also have to remember that a couple of months ago, Jamie Lee Curtis said that she would only come back to do a sequel to Halloween 2018 if David Gordon Green was directing. And according to Jeff Snyder of Collider, that, doesn't seem likely. It's not an impossibility right now, but there's no rumblings. No, kind of. There's no rumblings about David Gordon Green coming back, and maybe he doesn't want to. I mean, if you look at his IMDb, he's already in pre-production on another major motion picture. He's already got another major motion picture after that announced. He could be locked up. Not that movies take 9 months to shoot, especially the ones that he does, but I'm just saying he's got other things he's working on. He may not have an interest. Blumhouse may want to go relatively unknown again. They may want to hire a director that is not necessarily known to the masses, just like they've apparently done here with this writer. But if Jamie Lee Curtis holds true to what she said, and she doesn't return, Well, then it becomes really interesting. Then I will have much more to say. Then it becomes very interesting. But here are my thoughts on a sequel. That's really all I have to say about Scott Teems right now and all that, because I don't really, it's like, okay, all right, okay. Collider's a reputable source. Okay, looks like this might be happening, and it's not too much longer now until we'll get confirmation of that. But here's what I think about the sequel idea in general. I always knew that for those of you that don't know, I'm in the middle of doing up a Halloween sequel concept video where I lay out my idea for a sequel to Halloween 2018. Now, that's not to act as an endorsement for a sequel or that I condone there being one or that I think there needs to be one, I mean. It's just that if somebody was to ask me, hey, Dave, what would you do if you were approached to do a sequel? I'd say, okay, well, here's what I would do that would give you the best probability of success. So that's what that video is going to be all about. And just briefly, what I think they need to do. Now, I don't know what Scott Teems is going to do, and I don't know what was in that treatment. And that's not to say that you have to do it my way or it's not going to be successful. But knowing what I know, I look at the 2018 film and it has a very specific identity to it. It has a very specific message and a very specific sort of overall arc that if you just sort of, to me, and this is what my concept video is going to be all about, my sequel picks up immediately where this one left off. And that's not because I want to tip my hat to the 81 sequel. It's because for me, if you were to have the movie start a year later, even with Laurie in the movie, well, where's Michael? Has he just gone off into the ether and nobody's seen him? Well, where is he? Or is he captured again and thrown back into the, the sanitarium only to escape again? I mean, you don't want to do that. That's really lame. Now it's becoming really stupid. And it just feels like if you fast forward a year later and then Michael's back, however he comes back, he's back and he's wrecking havoc again. And Laurie and Karen and, Allison are in the movie again. It's like, well, what? They got to do it all over again? They got to go through it all again? Like the whole point of the 2018 film was about, the passing down of trauma and facing your fears and standing up to the boogeyman. And he's had a hold on my life for so long. I've had 2 failed marriages. I had my daughter taken away from me. The state took her away. I didn't give her the childhood that she needed and that she wanted. I wasn't the kind of mother that she needed and that she wanted. And it's all because of him. He fucking took it away. Now there comes a point where you gotta fucking own it. Okay. It's like, okay, Jamie, maybe Jamie. Okay, Laurie, maybe, but you kind of have to, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? It's because of that horrific event. And this was her redemption. Well, if you have a movie take place with Laurie as the main protagonist again, and Allison and Karen right there, you just totally render everything you created in this 2018 film sort of obsolete. It's like, oh, well, now we got to do it. Now we're back again. Oh, he's back. Let's do it again. It just seems kind of like, well, what the fuck was the point of all that then? Do you know what I mean? And if you don't have her in the movie and she's dead or she's just not in the movie and Michael's off somewhere else, but you have Allison in it, So I just think the logical choice, which was my idea, which you will get all the nitty gritty details on when I upload that video, which I'm going to kick myself in the ass now to get it up sooner because of this news that's being broken. I still don't know when yet though. So my idea is to have it pick up exactly where the first one left off. That way, everything you built in the first movie is still there. You're not rendering it obsolete. You're just making a sequel that is an extension of that. So it's almost like, you thought it ended here? Well, no, it actually didn't. There's more. It's like, okay, so you think it's the climax, and it is, but if you were to watch both these movies, it would almost act like the climax to the second act. Do you know what I mean? If you were to watch it as like one film, right? So there's more. It's like chapter 2, there's more. So it's the same night. Laurie goes to the hospital. She's stitched up, and I won't go any further than that because that's my idea that moves forward. And then you make a sequel because who's to say that the fire that is burning at her house isn't happening at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So there's still 2 hours left in Halloween night. And of course, even though it would be technically November 1st, there's the overnight, which is still Halloween night for all intents and purposes, right? So you still have the extension of the story that goes into the night. And there's more going on, and Michael's not there, and they can't find the body, and I'm not gonna fuck him. It's coming, don't worry. My sequel idea is coming. But the reason why I think that that's the way I would go about it is because then you don't render everything you built up obsolete, and it's almost like you're making the same movie over again. You know, I would imagine that's probably one of the reasons why Carpenter made the creative choice to have Halloween 2, 1981 pick up where the first one left off. So it acts as that extension, so it feels more organic. So you're not just doing the same thing over again, but just a year later. So if you're going to have Laurie Strode, Allison, and Karen in the movie, I think you need to, you know, not because you're tipping your hat, but just because it organically plays out better that way because of the kind of character Michael Myers is. He's not a Jason, he's not a Freddy. He can't literally disappear into the ether and nobody sees him, okay? That's not how he was designed, per se. Even though he has that supernatural element there, he's not Freddy that is literally supernatural and doesn't exist in the real world. So you can't, you know, and the way they've designed him in this new movie too, he's almost even more human than I would like. So that's what I think about that, is that I don't know what Teems has in mind. I don't know what he's going to do. And I'm not saying that you have to do it my way or it won't be successful. It's just because I don't know what his ideas are, and that's all the information we have right now, I'm still holding my stance on my idea that I think that would be more organic. I think the fans would really like it. Get some familiar faces in there because now things are starting to open up. It's on the news. Things are happening. It acts like Halloween 2, 1981 in the sense that it's the same sort of idea about picking it up and expanding into the night, but it doesn't play out the same way. It's not like it takes place in the hospital and shit like that happen and Laurie's there and she's being chased. No. We don't do that. We don't do that. It plays out very differently. But if it was me, I'd be utilizing the mood and the atmosphere and anyway, just wait for my video. But that's what I got to say about that. So it's interesting stuff. We'll know more information as it comes down the pipe. For those of you that are not new, stick around, because if this does get greenlit and it becomes official, you're going to want to be tuning in here for the 2019 Halloween news. If you are new to the channel, well, you can go back and watch all the Halloween 2018 goodness, including the world premiere video and all that kind of jazz. And if you're a big Halloween fan, you may want to stick around for Halloween 2019 or Halloween 2020 news. I have a feeling it'll probably be 2020, but you never know. You never know. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. The link is in the description as well. If you want to help support the channel each and every month via Patreon, that link is in the description, as well as links to my merch store, my IMDb, my Twitter, and my official website. So if you want to check them out, that's awesome. If not, well, that's okay too. So yeah, in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.